Hello, welcome to Show Me the Money Rugby League TV. This is the full 80 minutes extra. And earlier on, myself and Show Me the Money, Mr. Craig Harrison, we debated, is Shaun Wane going to pick his England Ashes team via the tried or tested route, or will it be fresh and on form?
We're on the full 80. I've had a big bee in my bonnet for the last 8 weeks. Some of our games have been amazing this year. You said it, Championship, some of the games at Super League. I thought the KR Leeds at weekend was sent. That try is as good as anything I've ever seen.
I've seen the try, I've not seen the game.
Mate, the game were great. It was exciting. The Lee Wigan game were exciting. Some of these games this year, Wakefield playing Brandy Rugby, that is I'm watching it all and we're bagging it again. I think Gary Schofield did one in NRL and he said, you know, we're just a dumping ground and with this, that. I get it, there's a bit of that. It's a bit of truth in that, in the players, that we're getting their worst, they're taking our best. Of course we have. We're all realists. Don't say that watching the NRL sometimes like watching paint dry. It's a rift. Mick, I ain't got through a full NRL game, me, for 4 months. I'm telling you, I have to switch off. It does not rock my boat. It's a brand of rugby at the moment. They're throwing the rugby ball everywhere, which is so exciting, but it's all, they don't get what we get anymore. They don't have that I don't think they get anywhere near. Our grievance, the atmosphere is electric. Why aren't we celebrating Lee getting sellouts every week? KR sellouts. Matt Ellis just said Waking Hill sell out every week. When has that happened in Super League? Sellouts.
To be fair, the clubs do. All KR do. Wakefield. They do a very good job of self-promoting.
Do you know the game at the head, the head of the game? We are having an amazing, exciting year with some brand of rugby that is sensational. Look at the Man of Steel debate. Jake Connor looks like he's clear now. Who would have said Jake Connor would beat Bevan and Mikey Lewis at Man of Steel? Anybody in the world?
I'm trying to think of our Super League preview show. I think someone actually had. I can't remember who it was. I'm sure someone had.
Hopefully it's not Jimmy, because I think Jimmy might. If it's Jimmy's a big.
I think someone actually had Jake Connor. I'll have to watch it back after this. But but Jake Connor definitely got a. I think I was a Mikey Lewis nominee.
I'm watching Jake. Right, we go to Leeds. I'll be there tomorrow. You're watching Jake. He is as talented a player as we've said it on the show, as I've ever seen in my life. They reckon in training, they does things. There are only two people ever you hear in training. It was Truman and Jake, who people say you have never seen skill level like these lads. Jake's found the happiest home ever at Leeds and he's not letting go of it. Do you know what he's done, don't you? He's done all these other clubs, right? And he's at the big house now. He's at Headingley in front of 18,000. He's not giving this up. And good on you, Jake. Good on you. I know you thought I'd challenge you before. I challenged you so you'd do this. I challenged you 4 years ago on this show, and people said, I think you said to Gay, no, mate, I just challenged you wasting your talent. You are definitely not wasting your talent now. You are sensational. You are giving people... Leeds have got a chance of winning this title. Leeds have got to fight, and Jake Connor's the reason. He's a massive reason why he honestly, mate, if you're watching it at Headingley, some of the things he's doing, he buys himself that much time going into line. He's walking with ball forward, and people don't even hear him because they know it's that flake. He can just do anything at any time. He's crossed this marquee signing. Jake's the man, honestly. And we're so lucky to be watching a kid. And I know this, but when I go on to this, I want us to discuss the World Cup and this thing, I think it's John Wilkin or Brian Carney on Sky challenged Shaun Wane and said he's got to look outside of the Lancashire base and these clubs and come down to Leeds and come to KRL and watch these others. It shouldn't be just that's who's going to play George and Harry Smith. George and Harry Smith, it should not be templated in that.
I must admit, I did see the sort of squad announcement, and yes, it was very Lancashire, Wigan, Warrington.
Well, they've called him out on Sky. They've had a dig, and I think Wayne will be hurt by the dig. And I've thought of a few things that
I missed the dig. What got?
It was
said?
just more or less said. Jake Connor's the best player in the country. Why would he not be a starting position for England this year? Why is he not before Harry and George and Mikey. That's the argument. And I thought about this long and hard, and I know we whipped on, but that's what we do in the full 80. We're whipping onto something here that hopefully gives you a bit of... Let's put Shaun Wane's hat on at the moment. Shaun Wane knows what he's got with Harry and George. Let me give people a real in-depth thing. They have played in 20, 15, 12 big games, and they've played very well under pressure. Harry Smith has been outstanding in big games. George Williams outstanding, played NRL, played international, played at the top level at Wigan, now at Warrington. We've never seen Jake in that type of atmosphere have to perform the violin. He probably only played in one final in his life. He hasn't played, he's played in the league games that are big and it's great atmosphere, but he hasn't been on that scene.
Yeah, not on the international stage.
Now that could go two ways. Shaun Wane's got a safety net there. And then let's say it's George. This is why we should have had Origin. George and Harry v O'Connor and Lewis. Take me Mikey biased away. Mikey's been best halfback in this country for 2.5 years, in my opinion. I don't think there's debate.
No.
I think he's the best. So you've got them two v them two. Wayne, he knows what he's got with these two. He knows what he's got. He knows under pressure at Wembley they are going to play at a solid game.
It's the tried and
these two could rip the Aussies apart, but then could the nerves and the overplaying be too much? So when they challenge Wayne, Wayne's making a decision which probably, if you look at him, he knows that under the pump that what these can do he's not so sure. Now Mike is getting there now, isn't he? He's played in a grand final, he's played in the Challenge Cup final. Yeah. He's played 4 or 5 internationals, played the Tongan Test Series. Mikey's getting there. So I think Mikey's saying to Wayne, if you trust these two, trust me, I played in big games and I've been the best player.
Yeah.
There's full houses at, Leeds v UKR and I'm the best player on the pitch. This year at Headingley, he ripped Leeds apart, quarter of an hour to go. That cut-out passing, we're on the...
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting from all parties what Wayne is going to do. I think the hooker thing bewilders me.
How much pressure do you think he's actually under?
I know Wayne's been hurt by. I know Wayne took that on what they said, and they think there's a bit of a Sky bias. They think there's a bit of a Sky bias against Wayne, and I don't know where that comes from. But the rumor is that they think there's a little bit of this. Wigan don't get Wigan don't get many fair shots on the Sky is what they should do. We don't celebrate Wigan as being the greatest team. We've always there's I notice a little bit. I'll be honest, I do. I think there's some unbelievable calls to be made. I think it's going to be that fascinating, this Test series. Honestly, mate, and the biggest fascination is going to be the selection. Because if me and you sat and talked about it now, I reckon we could have 5 big arguments. I think halfback. Let's put them 4 we've got at halfback. Do you agree it'll be them 4?
Yes.
Yes?
But I think me and you automatically know which way he's going.
Well, I hope he was,
even without this sort of influence from...
Yeah. So I think Mikey's got to be a shoo-in, but I'm not so sure Wayne. Well, I think he might anyway. Hooker.
Yeah, but if you...
Let's put the hooker one in.
If you've got Jake Connor and Mikey Lewis...
That's why we should have an Origin. Can you imagine that game?
So we've just had a kind of little bit of a intense debate about will it be Harry Smith, George Williams versus Mikey Lewis, Jake O'Connor. I know we're going to go on to the hooking dilemma, but just a little bit, Craig. I don't think Shaun Wane can do what he did last year in that Samoan series where Mike is effectively, is on the interchange bench, just so he takes part. You know where I'm coming from with that.
I don't think he will do that this year. I think he'll play.
I
think he's going to decide what he's. If you think about what we've just said there, O'Connor and Mikey, you've got George and Harry. I don't blame Shaun. Sometimes looking at that, I'd love to see. Do you know what somebody said to me, a top coach of the day, and I thought brilliant? He said, I think you should pick teams for different stadiums. He said, it doesn't have to be the same too. He said, if you think about it, going to Headingley for the decider and you say Jake Connor's playing in the decider, and the Leeds fans are going ballistic and saying, wow, you get me?
Yeah.
Mikey entertains fans all over the country. Absolutely unique player of excitement. Harry and George, like I said, it's a little bit of a different, very interesting. Bias-wise, I think Mikey's got to play it because I think he's been the best halfback. And I'll say this again, for the last 2.5 years, I think he's been the best halfback in the comp. It's whether Wane thinks he can handle the pressure on the big occasion. That's the only question mark to get Mikey in. That's my opinion. But I think the other thing, what we said, you've got Daz Clark, you've got Brad O'Neill
at Wigan,
Jez Litton,
yeah,
and Danny Walker. They're the four. Again, let's match them up. Walker, Brad O'Neill, Little, Jez Litton and Daz Clark.
Well, you've got 3 of those from the Lancashire side versus Litton, yes.
But KR top of the league for a reason, has been for 2 years. Because of Jez and Mikey, a big thing. So why would you... I'd had debate with Jez and Mikey, with everybody. I'd say, well, they're in the top team. They're doing it week in, week out. He bought Mickey Mack back last year for a test match, and a 18 months ago, and I thought that were a bad call in my opinion.
Yes.
Not against Mickey.
Yeah.
Been a legend, Mickey, but just a bad call. He's always gone for experience, Wane. So you're looking at that. If he said experience, would you go for Daz Clark? Would be the favourite based on the way Wane selects. I know he likes the Wigan lad Brad, so that'd be it. But if you put Danny Walker and Jez together now, Jez is the inform hooker in the comp. If you put all them 4 and ask the average fan who wins,
Jez. Based on this year performances, ability, and what you bring into the party.
Yes.
And I always remember going to a press conference last year, and obviously there was other members of the media there, but Shaun always said he was going to be selecting based on form, and this is pressure on Shaun.
Shaun, it is.
It's
a great point.
I was. Well,
you were there.
It wasn't my question, but he did answer the question. He would be picking his England team based on the form the players are currently in, not player X who 2 years ago, had a great game in a semi-final or a quarter-final of a World Cup. It's on the here and now. So that firmly does put Mikey Lewis, Jacob Connor, and as you said, Jez Litton firmly in the selection process. And we know they're in the 32-man squad, but that will eventually get whittled down. And don't forget, Craig, I put it up on the phone here. There's no Herbie Farnworth in there. There's no Kai Pearce-Paul. So you've still
got Morgan Smithies. There's probably 6 in. I think there's 6 in there in the NRL at the moment.
Yeah. So
Matty Nico.
Yeah.
You're looking at all them, and he hasn't put them in, obviously.
Yeah.
But then you look at our comic. We could have debates everywhere. Your other debate, I'd say one of the. And again, I am biased because it's one of my players, and I keep thinking of my Owen Trout's coming from strong every week now. Trout, his levels have gone up that much. I'd say as a ball playing forward, he's more. When he's on form, Trout he'd have to be in, and he's in the squad.
Yes.
Rob Learns will have to be in the squad. Michaletsky, my lads are all starting to hit some form. Leeds have got a top 3 club. Lee are 4th in the league, so there's a top club. Warrington are probably 7th or 8th. How many Warrington, there's so many, honestly. 13. Again, my bias that's on, and Ben Curry's playing out. Best rugby Ben Curry's played in the last 15 months is now. So if you picked him before and he's played centre, back row, he's played a bit, he's outstanding at loose forward. So you've got, I think there's that many. Who's fullback?
Well, if he's fit and raring to go, Wellesby, yes.
So we'd say that's a shoe-in. He gets the
I think you would have to.
Please get some comments in and put us some teams in again.
The interesting one as well is one of the wing spots, Matty Aston. Where's he likely to be?
Tom Johnson.
Yeah.
Do you go for them 2, and then Farnworth will play? He's the best. 100%. He's the best centre, one of the best centres in the world. So he plays. Does Callum Watkins play based on form?
Well, again, I go back to, and I can't wait for the next sort of England Media Day, because if no one else has it, I will reference that quote what Shaun gave almost 12 months ago that's you think England head coach, you deserve a little bit of scrutiny. How are you actually going to pick your team? How much of it's based on historics and those historical games and performances versus what you're actually seeing right now? Because I don't think anyone would have expected Warrington to be in the doldrums like they are now, and no one probably would have expected Lee and even Leeds. They beat St Helens on Friday, Craig. All of a sudden, they're literally 2 points behind Wigan, and I've got a lot of friends who are Leeds fans, and probably for the first time since that first year when Rowan went in there and they had that exciting sort of kamikaze at times style of rugby league football, great attack, poor defence. The Leeds fans are believing. Leeds fans actually believe.
100%.
They're believing.
100%. But let me tell you this. This will be an interesting one. Let's say we've got 5 or 6. Obviously, Price has come back, but we've got Nico, Smithies, Piers Paul, Dom Young. Come on, I've missed one out.
Nicholson Walton.
No.
Matt Nicholson.
No, I've said him.
Oh.
So anyway, I thought there were 6 at the moment. Herbie as well.
Yeah.
Do all them play? Do all the NRL players play? Would somebody say, well, they're in NRL, it's better than our comp? They've got to play. They've all got to play. They're used to playing against Aussies. They know exactly what's going to come. Because if all them play,
you're limiting what you're looking at.
There's 25 of these going to miss out, or we're playing out of the skin. So that's going to be that's a big best question for Wayne. Would be that are all the NRL players guaranteed a spot? Yes or no?
Yeah, well,
because if you play Dom Young, who's not been on top form by the way,
no, I agree.
Then do you get rid of Ashton? I know he said he's injured, but has been outstanding. Tom Johnson now is playing
the best.
Yes. He'd be my
for a very
absolute shoe-in. Ash Hanley at centre. Is he the form centre?
Well, you've got to say basically.
Would you play him in front of Newman?
That's interesting.
Do you get me?
I think he probably would. Just nudge at this point. If we are doing what Shaun said, Craig, about the form.
So, Wakey at one of the informed sides, how many will Wakey get in there? You
saw it, didn't you? That it was.
Because let me tell you, one of the informed players at the moment, I'll tell you now, I'm going to throw this in, he's the fullback.
Yeah, Max Jowett.
He is absolutely, if you were doing what you're saying, Jowett has to be. He's outplayed Wellesby by a million miles.
100%.
This year, we know how good Jack is. We know the quality of Jack.
Yeah, and that's the question.
And they move Jack all over. They move Jack, But if you look as a fullback, let me tell you, Max is the best fullback at the moment in Sub League. And I'll debate with anybody on that.
In form, yeah.
Do you get me?
I agree.
Then you go, it's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre because you're looking at it. I'm looking down list. We out them 6 players.
Well, yeah, like you say, Craig, you make a perfectly valid point. How is Shaun saying because you've done 20 to 30 games in the NRL, a far superior competition, it does automatically put you ahead of someone who's done 20 to 30.
I'll give our viewers a go. Jake Wardle, Harry Newman, Ash Hanley, Herbie Farnworth, 4. So we've give you 4 hookers, we've give you 4 halfbacks. I'm going to give you 4 centres. Who are you picking? Who's your 2, Mick?
Well, we've got to be brutally honest. It's got to be Herbie Farnworth.
And?
For mine, it'd be Ash Hanley over Newman.
And Wardle?
Yes.
There we go. That's Mick. That's interesting.
No, that's what I would do. I'm a believer in the right here, right now, and how you're playing, rather than having a poor season, but 2 of the last 3 have been good. And I understand what you're saying, and Shaun will have a little bit of that with your Williams and your Smiths. They've been there, done it, worn the T-shirt. They've had that international pressure. I get it, but listen, Mr. Wayne, you need to stick to what you said last year. You would be picking, or should I say, not picking, but you know what I mean? You will be influenced by how the players are playing.
Yeah, it's interesting, Mick. He's got some massive calls, and I'll give a tip for Wayne. And we'd tip a 5-time winning grand final, one of the best coaches. It's just debate. I probably think Wayne probably needs a bit of help on it and all. I think they used to do a team selection, and I'm not on about the old champagne and the 60-year-old saying, play Mick McGee, you know. I'm on about proper. I think he needs to get his staff and have some real input, because
Danny Maguire.
If you
could you see it, Craig, just quickly? Maguire coming onto the England side for
I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. I think for the World Cup next year, I'm hoping Danny coaches a top. I'm hoping Danny either goes assistant to a top 6 international and gets that, or he even coaches. And I won't say this about other people's jobs, but on home nations, and he does an experience. I think it'll do him absolutely world good. Either if he goes, I know Radders did it last year, and I know there were quite a few of our assistant coaches were here, there, and everywhere. I think famously Paul Wellens refused the England assistant to go and do with Wolfie.
Yeah,
he went with Christian to do the was it Tongan one, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think so, but I think them calls it should be made. I'd probably get some input off a lot of people. I know even if it's not my staff, Lasty, whatever his staff is, I think I'd probably go Matty Pete. I think I'd probably Powley. I'd probably pull him, and I know he does that. I know Sean rings them all the time. I know he does. And Willie Peters will say, "Look, he's in form," and they give him it, and he. But I think that's a fantastic way to do it, Wayne. I think Wayne's got it right there. Because you might not know somebody's absolute thing, and if Willie Peters says to Shaun Wane, you can trust Mike and Jez at any stage, best trainers, effort levels massive. You've got to trust me. These lads are. I think that's a massive sway with me. Do you get me? I would. I'd still make the call, but he'll know. I thought Dean Hadley thought we're a cert. You're on about form. Yeah. Who's the form? Who can play back row, prop, and loose better than Dean Hadley? There's one for you. 3.
Yeah.
Probably Ben Curry. Maybe Ben. You get me?
Yeah. If he's.
Dean Hadley's playing, he's making 50 tackles, playing 80 minutes. He's making 16 hit-ups. His stats are off the chart. He's 6 foot. Don't realise how big Dean is. He's huge.
Yeah, the other week when he scored, and you see it.
Huge, honestly. And
you need that. You do.
Utility.
And against Australia, Craig, the size.
And John Bateman's the other NRL player.
Yeah.
We've not even mentioned John getting a game. December, December,
100% would be in that 17.
And then would they go Matty Nico?
But then, let's be honest, Junior December, recently, the form's on the way down.
That's a great point.
So,
well, by the way, he's a baby.
Yeah.
He's a baby, and the pressure on him to deliver. But I know what you're saying.
I know John's a fellow Bradfordian, but is John Bateman in that kind of Mickey McLaurin kind of getting, or would you have John? Clearly, John's going to be in that squad 100%, but does Bateman just bring, especially with it being England and Australia and the Ashes for the first time in 20 plus years? This probably would be Bateman's final swan.
If you go in NRL,
this would be Bateman's final swan song, so to speak.
If you go in NRL, which they have done before, you'd have to say Nicholson was in better form.
Yeah, Matt Nicholson.
Pre-injury than John.
Yes.
In this comp, in our country, obviously, we all think December's going to be it. There's Batchelor there. You could play Ben Curry there.
Mm-hmm.
Swede doesn't. Ben Curry can play 13 back row centre, so I think Ben Curry's a shoe-in. I'm looking down the list here. It's going to be crazy.
There's going to be a lot. Well, you can already tell, Craig, there's going to be a lot of people there who are.
Look at the props here. You've got young props like our George Delaney, Ethan Havard, Tom Allroyd, Morgan Knowles, again, loose forward, back row, Matty Lee's prop.
Yeah.
Mike McGee can probably the informed prop. You've got Elliot Minicello at loose, Rob Malone.
Well, the way Matt McKeegan's been playing for Wakefield, Craig, he 100% would be in. It would definitely. I mean, I'm not quite sure it works on the international stage, whether it's the same as Super League or Championship with a 21-man squad, but McMeekan certainly would be in my 21.
Well, you look at this. You've got, let's say, I'll throw a quick matchup to you. Rob Malone this year or Luke Thompson?
I think Wayne is going Thompson.
Who's the form player? Rob Malone.
Rob Malone, yeah. But if you're asking me, Craig, and you're asking me to put £50, he's going Thompson. He's going Luke Thompson, yeah.
So you've actually got a...
I'm sorry, Sean. We're trying to give you a bit of Honestly, if you want to come on show, you're welcome.
No, but it's quite funny, isn't it? Because you could look at how this squad could look unbelievable both ways. You could either go, Wayne, he goes trust, and he goes to what you said, Thompson, and he goes bang, and John Bateman, bang, and he goes bang, and he goes to Old Wayne, and he goes to Wembley, and he tries to get that first victory, and then you might mix it up a bit. Or do you go, let's give the Aussies, let's just watch Origin yesterday. I'll give you a quick one, what I'm on about. This is a good one for you.
I know the score. I missed it because I was at York press conference and Bradford.
DC from Manly played the first Origin.
Yeah.
Yeah? He was one of the 33-year-old, one of the best halfbacks in the world, if not the best halfback.
Yeah.
I thought his legs just started to go a bit 15 months ago. I thought he didn't look as sharp.
He's been around a while.
He dropped it after first Origin. There was a public outcry. He had to not play. He got linked to leaving Manly, £1 million to go somewhere. All about him. Bang. They put the young lad in who got the man of the match yesterday.
Tommy Dearden.
Tommy was absolutely sensational. So this is a bit like the Mikey, the Jess.
Yeah.
He went.
Good analogy. You got me?
Yeah. 100%. The Origin coach, Billy Slater's gone. And he was so close to DC, so close, but he's gone. I'm going for a form player. Durden's the form half in the comp.
Yeah.
They've just won the Origin series.
Yeah.
But I think here's one for you. And Sam can clip this bit. That one decision won them the Origin. I know Munster's emotion and all that, but I think playing Durden is making that big call. Now back to Waney. Has Waney got that to make that call?
I believe he has, but will he? I'm not so sure, Craig. I'm not so sure.
You would think he might go type.
Yes. But I would love, and I can't wait for when we start doing the pre-Ashes media, because if no one else asks the question, Craig, that is one of the first. I won't be able to sit there for 20 minutes with him. We'll only be allowed to ask 3 or 4, but I'll be like, Shaun, do you remember this time, date last year? You said, how your selection process and brain works. Well, is that still the same? Because if you're going to ignore Jez Litton, if you're going to ignore Mikey Lewis, if you're going to ignore Jake O'Connor.
Well, Morgan Knowles just signed a 3-year deal to go to Dolphins, right?
So he'll be number 7 over there next year.
So you're looking, would he be a shoo-in? But I don't think Morgan's he played well last week, but he hasn't been at the his standard with that eye.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been at that eye.
Yeah.
So to me, it's even more bewildering. Shaun's got the hardest job I've seen, because if what you're saying is reform, that is going to look so different. That is going to look so different if he's going to try and pick a team to win a test match.
Yeah, and when we say form, Craig, I'd have to say we're not just, between now and the Ashes, you can't just say, it's only 2 or 3 months form. You'd be looking at the whole season, and you'd have the stats to back it up, the scientific.
Do you know the greatest talent I think you've got for selecting players? I've always said this, when Gailey came through at Bradford, and then London, he got to Cass. Gailey'd never been in a good side, which were competing for top honours. If Luke could have gone at 21 to St. Wigan, Leeds, Warrington at that time, would he have been in the England squad earlier than that he did? Where he always played in it. He didn't get to Castle at 27.
Yeah.
And when then they saw that he was that level, do you get me? But if he'd have played for Leeds at 21 and had 4 grand finals.
Yes, I'm going to say yes.
So I think Wayne's your honesty and his staff have got to be, I know I've got a player who's in a club that are 8th, but if he was in that Wigan side, so what if you use an argument, you say, right, we'll give Brad O'Neill Hooker's shirt because he's won 2 grand finals on trot. Jez Litton's not won nothing. Would Jez Litton have won 2 grand finals if he'd been in Wigan?
Yes.
Do you get me?
I do get you, Craig. I do get you.
And it's very unpopular, and you've got to have absolute steel in your veins to pick a player who might not be at a top 3 club. But I tell you what, also there's a lot of players being picked because they are at them clubs.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. That's the only one I'll challenge anybody on. You cannot pick a player just because he's at a top 3 or 4 club. That is ridiculous. Because you've got players who you're watching, you're going, he's better than them. If he were there, you'd have to say what I saw this year. I'd have to say Mike McGeechan has to be the first player on the sheet, even above Knowles and Lees and all them from Saints have won 5 grand finals.
Wow.
Honestly, on form, on my life, he would have to be an absolute shoo-in.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. You know, he's been that leading force in Wakefield's go forward. Yeah. 100%. Not more so than that thumping of Catalans the other week. That was one of the rare Super League games I watched, and I was just in absolute awe.
See, he's got this is the interesting one. I'm going to throw another one for you. Are you ready? Harry Robertson, who we think's going to be. Our Joe told me Harry Robertson will be the best talent. He thought he was best academy player he's ever seen. Right? Harry's playing centre now, not fullback. Yeah.
Too soon, Craig.
So Harry's is an interesting one for you.
Too soon.
So Harry's been put into that squad for a taste of it.
Yeah, it's for me.
Based on what he's done, it's
an Ashes series too soon.
Why would Harry get in there and not Ollie Pratt or Corey Hall at the moment? Why would Harry? What right has Harry to get in there? That Ollie Pratt this year, that first 10 games, I've never seen out like it.
No, I don't disagree with you. I just think...
And then last 5 games, Corey Hall's been best young centre in comp.
And I don't disagree with you on Corey Hall. I just feel that Harry Robertson and the power of social media and the highlights reel, like the tackle he did on, was it Ryan Hall at St Helens, Leeds the other week? I think when you look at Harry... I'm not saying this is the be-all and end-all, but for me, who doesn't watch Super League religiously week on week, I definitely do see from the Super League accounts, from the England accounts, you know, Harry Robertson, that's something that's being pushed. But
yeah,
the highlight.
Where's that push from? Because he's at Saints.
Yes, yeah. So that is all because it's Saints, big club, top 4. I think Saints are 4th at the minute, top 4 club. Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
No, that's my perception of it.
That's a good one for you when you get into Wading. You can say, right, so you put Harry in because a young star going to be a star in the future.
Yeah, but
why would you not put Ollie Pratt or Corey?
No, I agree, Craig, and that'd be great for Ollie Pratt and Corey Hall to be involved in this 32-man England squad. And I mean, again, I'm not sure how often they're actually going to train, because I was talking to someone in Super League who said that the reason why they can't have the week off, they can't have a practice match before the Ashes, is because no one's spoken to anyone about it. So that is quite a bit of a frustrating bugbear of mine, that we are going to go into the Ashes series cold. And like Craig said, imagine if we just had 1 week, even one game, let's just say next week, or even, it could have happened a couple of weeks ago, just one blank weekend where we could have had Yorkshire, Lancashire, and then we...
you know what?
At times, I think we shoot ourselves in the foot
if we did that, if we had a lovely window in about 4 weeks, Mick, and we put them all together, the matchups here would be absolutely
unbelievable. And let those Yorkshire versus Lancashire games. I'm not talking about Yorkshire versus Lancashire from 20 years ago, where it wasn't really serious; it was semi-serious. And look, this a Yorkshire versus Lancashire. Now, as we get towards the business end, that should be. Here's the spotlight. Mikey Jake, George Harry.
Well, who's not paying?
Show us what you're doing.
Who's not paying to watch them matchups? I think you're paying. You can't wait. If you saw
exactly
that matchup alone, I'm going to give you
Lytton against O'Neill,
40,000 sellout like that. If you put them matchups against each other,
you're saying 40.
Honestly,
Craig, between me and you, I love you to bits.
Yeah, of course.
I think you'd be lucky if you got 15 at Edinburgh or 15 at Wigan. But that'd be a great starting point, and that'd be more beneficial. That'd be more beneficial, Lancashire versus Yorkshire, than any of the other stuff that we've come up with.
I think if it was sold right and we got 6 months promotion on it, and you start getting these players involved in the debate started on who is the best.
Yes.
What a game you could put together.
And you would have to probably have a lot of buy-in from Shaun Wane, in that if, let's just say for argument's sake, Williams or Harry Smith had a shocker and Mikey Lewis scored 3 tries, and there'd have to be the buy-in.
There's no way out for
there won't be no way out. Yeah, and I missed the criticism from Brian Carney and John Wilkin, but that criticism would be justified in that situation.
Yeah,
if you had this Yorkshire, Lancashire, and you had.
But it is so hard, Mick, isn't it? Because let's say horse racing jockeys, the difference in knowing what you've got before you do it is immense. Ryan Moore, is going to give you a ride of your life. Ryan Moore is going to sit on a horse, mate. You don't understand the racing. and guarantee you the best ride because he's done it in 68 group wins. You get me?
Craig, I'll be honest, I have no idea who
I'm
more
saying it, Grand Prix driver. You know that this guy's won 40 Grand Prix, and when he's in a car, it's high pressure, he can do it. I get that they should have given Wayne more respect. He has to look at that. He has to look at what it's going to look like, 80,000 Wembley. He has to look at Headingley when roofs have come off.
For the decider.
And then he's got to look at the Everton, and he's got to look and go, who can handle that spot? And how do you... It's so hard for Shaun, because how does he know some of them players can handle that? Yeah. He doesn't, does he? Do you get me? I think there's a bit of excitement in that, Mick, not knowing. Do you get me? Yeah. Imagine you not knowing there's a player there who actually just turns up on day and goes, oh, this is fun. Do you get me? Whoosh. I think, anyway, it's all good. It's all good debate. Please join our debate. And in next 2 months, we'll start putting a team together we'll call it the Show Me Great Britain team. We'll get it out there. We're all going to have a big debate.
Well, to be fair, I think probably, we'll let the season go on. Yeah. I was just thinking, we need all 4 of us, and we should do fullback and write the player down. And without looking at each other's, it'll be on... Well, in fact, we'll write down the team and
the reasons why.
And it'll be, when all the votes are in, that is the team, and it'd be interesting. But, let us know in the comments, do you agree, who would you have? Would you go for the tried and tested, the George Williams, the Harry Smiths, the Brad O'Neills, or would you go for some, the form? We're not saying Harry Smith or George Williams are playing poorly this year, but certainly you would say Mikey Lewis and Jake O'Connor in recent weeks, recent months would have elevated their performance levels above. Let us know in the comments, should Shaun Wane go for tried or tested, or should he go for fresh and form? I like that. Tried or tested, fresh or form.